Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. Today I want to take on a debate that you see a lot online. Should you take tactical training classes? Should you spend the hundreds of dollars that it's probably going to take to go through one of these classes? Do you even need it? Is it really all that necessary? Well, I have my opinion, so let's talk about it. Okay, so do you need training? This is a really important topic and one that's been argued and debated for as long as I can remember. There's two different camps. You have people in camp one who say that you really just need to stay proficient. You don't have to spend hours, if not days of your time and hundreds of dollars doing things that you might never actually, get a chance or even have to use. So it's kind of pointless. Just go to the range a couple times a month, make sure that you stay proficient at hitting that target. That's really all you need to do. Then you have the other side that says, look, training is as important as the tool that you're using, and without it, you're leaving yourself at a massive disadvantage, and so you need training. Training is extremely important, and that's the two camps right there. Do you spend the time? Do you spend the money? And then you have to spend the time, you have to spend the money. So let me give you my perspective on this one. 11 years ago, I had never taken any training, and I was in camp one. Okay, I kind of saw it as, well, I know what I'm doing. I can, go to the range, and I can stay proficient, and I'm good to go, and I know how to draw, and all that stuff. I can take care of things without having to spend the money and go through all of that. And then I got invited to a class. Okay, I got invited to a class. My first one was 2012, right? And when I got to that class, what I was really surprised about, I think the thing that surprised me the most after taking that class was how much I thought I knew, but didn't, right? And you don't know that you don't know something until someone tells you something that you didn't know. As confusing as that is, it is absolutely true, because you think you know these things. It's sort of like the mentality of a child, right? Kids think they know everything. They go through the world, they go through life, they play with their toys, they play outside, thinking that they understand life, when they don't. It's not until later on in life, when you're an adult, you realize, wow, if I had known then what I know now, things probably would have ended up a little bit different for me. It's kind of the same perspective. You have to have the same perspective on it, because I came out of that class with my eyes completely open. Because again, I thought, okay, I'm proficient, I know what I'm doing, I know how to use my tools, I can handle things. I came out of that class going, holy crap, I didn't know anything, and maybe I should probably take another class or 20 just to get better. That's pretty much what it came down to. And that's what the first training class that I ever took did to me. It opened my eyes. But if you refuse to ever do training, you'll never have that experience. You won't understand that. You'll go through everything thinking that I'm good to go. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of embarrass myself, because I'm going to show you guys one of the things I thought I knew, but I didn't know until I went to that class. And one of the things that actually prompted me to go to that class was the fact that part of that class showed you how to protect yourself and your family inside of your house. There's a lot of things in your house that you don't really think about on a daily basis. The hallways, the doors, the left and right turns, the plant that you have, the TV stand, all these different things that are in your house that affect that environment. And again, you're just coming home, you're in your safe space, you're good to go. You don't think about those things while you're in your house, but the class teaches you to think those things. So one of the first things that I learned, and it kind of blew me away because I realized how wrong I was doing it, is I thought, okay, if I needed to clear a room, and again, this is, about 10 years ago or so, I thought the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to try and get an angle. So I'm going to walk up to the doorway. Let's say I'm walking up to the right side, and I want to make sure that I clear this area, and I want to clear that area so nobody's hiding in the corners, that I'm not going to see. And so I'm going to kind of get to the doorway, and I'm going to kind of look over like this, clear that, and immediately turn, and I'm going to immediately clear this side of the room too. That's what I thought back in 2012. Until I was taught, and this is multiple classes now that have kind of taught something at least similar to this. Sometimes you go through one class and another class, or you have an instructor who likes to teach you a slightly different way, and you kind of have to figure which one of those is going to work best for you. And each instructor is going to have their own way of doing things as well. So if you do end up taking multiple classes, you'll find that out. Each person has their own personality and their own way of doing things that they've probably learned from. But I found out that you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to get inside that door, or even stick your head through, or do anything and kind of turn and clear, because that whole time, 100% of that time that you get up to that doorway, you're visible to somebody over there. So if I go beep like this and I kind of look through and there's somebody back here, they're going to get me before I have a chance to turn around and see them. That's it. It's going to be over. So the way to do it, to approach it, is to not be in front of the doorway. First, you start off kind of at an angle to the doorway. I'm off to the side right here, kind of not making myself too visible to the doorway. And as I approach the doorway, I'm not going to get all the way up to the doorway. I'm going to be, let's say that the door is right here. I'm going to be kind of over here, right? I'm out of the way. I'm behind cover, looking this way as much as I can. So I'm going to be outside of that doorway, looking this way. Then I'm going to do a half moon shape. So bringing myself away from that wall, away from the door. All the time I have initial advantage of seeing what I see first, right? And I'm going to bring myself to the other side of the doorway, away from the opening altogether, and I'm going to be looking this way. Okay, it's not like SWAT, okay? It's not like you have a whole group of guys that are stacked up behind you, and you're going to be, throwing in some, distraction device that's going to, cause people to be confused and dazed, and you have an advantage, unless you have that stuff. But if you don't, right, it's just you. And so you have to have the best possible means necessary to be able to do something. So I found out that I was wrong. I didn't know that. I didn't really think about it at the time, but I sure as hell found out real quick when there was an instructor sitting over there with a little laser thing going bink, 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 and hitting me with the laser in the face. That kind of taught me pretty quick, I'm doing this wrong. And so, while yes, you don't necessarily, and I understand this argument, you don't necessarily need to take classes to protect yourself or defend yourself. You don't need to. What classes give you is an advantage. So it's an advantage to win that particular engagement that you might have. It might be in a parking structure, it might be in a parking lot, it might be in your car in a drive-through. You never know where something could happen, right? They teach you how to deal with each one of those situations as it comes up, so that I know how I can handle things. Where am I sitting? Am I sitting so that it's not accessible? Is the seatbelt covering it? There's a lot of things that maybe you weren't thinking about before that they're going to show you. And basically, like I said, you don't have to, but it gives you a better chance of survival. That's essentially what you're doing. So if I have a 40% chance of survival without training, after going through training, I might have a 90% chance because I thought of things beforehand. I've done this before. I've seen it. I've practiced it, right? And so each one of those things, and I promise you, you do not forget. After going through one of those classes, they add additional stress. A lot of times they'll add stress on purpose, whether they'll be in your ear or they'll add a timer. You'd be surprised at how many times you might mess up just because somebody has a timer. I need you to do A, B, and C. You have 5 seconds, go. And all of a sudden, that stress that you never thought you would feel because you have a whole bunch of people, there's 30 other people that are watching you do this, and that timer's going, and you want to make a good impression, right? All of a sudden, that timer ticks down, and it's 9 seconds, and you have to do these different things. That pressure kicks in really quick. While it's obviously not the same stress as what you would go through in an actual incident, that stress is real. That stress is real. It's not as big, but it's real, and it will get you to mess up. And it'll get you to mess up, and guess what? They're going to teach you how to get through that. And they're also going to teach you how to get through problems with your tool, things that you might not have thought about before. What's the quickest way that I can get through this problem, right? You've seen things. People talk about different ways to clear stuff. You're going to learn how to be proficient at that in classes too. So yes, it takes hours. And yes, sometimes you can sign up for classes and they take days. And yes, it can be expensive. Some are more affordable than others. But the amount of knowledge you come out with is so invaluable that I suggest it to absolutely everyone. Some places have memberships, and the membership works out. I've been a member of FrontSight for forever. I haven't used it that much, but there's different places that have memberships. Also, I found out a little bit later on that in some, let's say you go to one place to train, right? That place may have you go through a level 1 class for what you want to do before you can move on to the level 2 and then the level 3 in order to do the different things. So they want to make sure that you can at least be proficient at level 1 first. So they might require that you take a level 1 class, which is just the basics. They're going to show you the basics, teach you the basics, take you out and make sure you're proficient with the basics. Once you finish that, then they'll allow you to take that 2nd tier or 3rd tier, or whatever it is, kind of move up the ladder. But as you go, it's fun. People almost never talk about that aspect. It's fun. You're there with like-minded people doing the things that everybody else likes to do, and you're getting better together, right? Because you'll find some people, and I mean, even just a standard class, you're going to find people who have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever. They just took it upon themselves to get in there and get that knowledge, right? They just got this thing. They just bought their tool a day ago, okay? 1 day ago, 2 days ago, they decided to sign up for a training class. They don't know what they're doing, but tell you what, they know what they're doing by the end of the class. And it's a lot of fun to see that progression and see how people go. And I think it's absolutely worth it. So yeah, again, it might be hours, it might be days, but it could turn into a hobby. It's a lot of fun to do, and it increases your chances of survival, and you can't put a dollar amount on that at all. So while there are 2 camps, you can see which side I fall into. These people think that they know everything, okay? They think, just like I did, I'm completely guilty of it. They think they know until they go to the class and they find out what they needed to know. That's really what it boils down to. I'm not endorsing one place over another. I think you should do your research, read about them, right? Get some reviews, read some reviews about the place, and then maybe see if they'll let you come in and just, check out a class first or something, and then go ahead and take it. Do your research, because you don't want to go to a place where it's, just bunch of guys that are, dressed up and look interesting, but don't really know what they're talking about. Make sure you understand the background of these people. A lot of the people that have trained me are guys who have skill levels that I'll never, ever get to. And we're talking Green Berets, SEALs, stuff like that. These guys get out, guess what they're good at? They're good at training people. They're good at what they do, so they open up classes. Those are usually the guys to find. They've been trained, they trained for years, now they're gonna train you. Anyway, I am on the side of getting trained. So if you were on the previous side before, try it out, see what you think, and let me know in the comments section what you guys think about training or just going to the range twice a month. Thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. Have a great day.